Welcome to S.I.T. This is our 11th episode. I'm counting down. I'm so excited. And so, welcome. I want to introduce my wonderful co-host. You should know us by now.
Sure.
So, Tildy and go through me. So we just had a really intense show on human trafficking, and we want to breathe and just let loose, and just for you to talk. No, you're not talking.
No, we're talking.
For us to talk about ourselves to you. And so we're just going to spend some time just chilling and getting to know one another.
I think
we really do know each other really well. But for you to know who we are and just talk about our lives and let this be kind of the laid back edition of S.I.T. We may change it to stand. Because after we finish talking, you may want to stand up.
I want to change it to lay down.
It could be lay down, because you may want to do that after you hear about our lives and some of the personal, intimate things that I'm going to ask Tildy and go to share about themselves. Notice I'm not telling you anything. I'm going to sit here and go, girl, really?
Sometimes I think it's just fun to just talk.
And just be the way we normally are, aside from doing these, the shows that we do. I mean, we really have a good time together.
I think so too.
And,
we have a lot of
and I love how easy it is to work with both of you. And I just really want to thank you for agreeing to do it and for coming up with the idea. I just love you guys.
Okay, so we'll stop. And this is typically what it looks like.
Right. Sporadic. So why don't we start by just telling people what's happening? What's happening in your life?
With your life? Go ahead, Francois. What is happening in my life? Oh my gosh. Well, what do y'all want to know? There's a lot happening.
Well, I mean, Color Me Safe.
Yeah. Color Me Safe is doing well. We are going in a positive direction. I just recently took on a director of marketing and community relations. I'm very, very excited. So we are in the process of revamping some things. So there's a lot of new changes coming, and there's a possibility of developing an app for Color Me Safe.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So tell people a little bit, if this is their first show, about Color Me Safe.
So Color Me Safe, we started this in 2012. It's a family crisis management consulting firm that specializes in providing guidance and solutions in child welfare issues. So what we do is we guide families and attorneys whenever there's a child protective services involved in a case. We help them navigate through the landscape. And we also provide a number of other services from public education on abuse and neglect, bullying prevention and intervention, and also how to help new immigrants in this country assimilate and understand the child welfare laws.
Wow.
It's a big
That's
job.
awesome.
So, so it's going well.
You've been traveling?
I will be.
Where you going?
You want to go?
It depends where you're going. I almost said something. Depends where you're going. And what are you going to do?
What am I going to do? Well, with one of my college BFFs, we always try to take a trip every 3 to 4 years. So we're taking our big trip this summer. So I'm flying into Denmark into Sweden, and Sweden into Finland, and Finland into Norway.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
How
Get
long
away.
are you going to be there?
We'll be there for almost 10 days. 10 days.
Yeah.
Okay,
10
now
days.
let's stop, because remember we were talking at backstage about telling folks where you're going, so that people won't break into your house.
That's
Where
right.
you going? So erase.
Well,
I'm not going. I'm not going
they don't know the
anymore.
dates. They don't know the
Did I
dates.
just say, yeah, they don't know the dates. I'm home. Don't come over to my house.
Unless you're tall, dark, and handsome.
Yes, exactly.
Then you can break in.
You guys said that. I didn't.
Put a ring on it.
And of course, in addition to that, yes, we're trying to put a ring on it.
So talk to us about that. What's going on with the
Everybody's
dating life?
trying to set me up, guys. I have somebody coming to see me next month, so I'm putting it out there. He's coming to see me, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, we can't wait to hear about it.
I can't wait to tell y'all about it. I think my parents can't wait either. They're like, when is it going to happen for you? It's all in God's hands.
It's coming. We just want the right person.
Thank
we got to
you,
check him
guys.
out.
Thank you.
Yeah, when it gets to that place,
Yeah.
we got to check him
I
out.
mean, we all have to go to Amalfi. It's got to happen soon, right?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So thanks, guys.
So, Francois, tell us what's happening with you.
You're going to say, what's happening with your mic?
Shakalaka, shakalaka.
And had some technical difficulties of the mic disappearing in all my loveliness. Anyway, so I've been speaking. Went to Atlanta to this conference of marketing and analytics folks who, like I said, I had no idea they even existed. Met this guy who got a company in Mexico where he's looking at how does he build social capital between Mexicans and Mexican Americans. Oh. And I thought, wow, with generational differences and, the amount of time that people have been in the country. So it resulted in some amazing conversations on a gentleman called me who does cultural design work. I mean, it's just all this stuff. Yeah, so it's been neat speaking, and sharing what I do around social capital, but also meeting some really cool folks. And then my daughter, she's going to kill me for telling. But I am so proud of Kaze. She got accepted into Washington University's summer program.
Nice.
Good job.
And so she went. I was so proud. She's going to kill me. Like, why are you mentioning my name?
We need Francois.
I'm on the back of a milk carton. Have you seen me? The age progression. I'm like on a cane. And so I'm so proud because she got accepted into this program, spent like 2 weeks away from home in a dorm. So I was like, yes, she's going to come back and she's going to be so different. And she has come back and she's this mature young woman who now wants to keep her room clean. I'm like, Jesus, thank you. Send her back. Yes. I'm like, every month if we can do this now. It was wonderful because it helped her really start thinking about college. And looking at what she wants to do for a career. So for me as a mom, I'm like, yes, if this is going to accelerate the process of growth, woo.
She is a good girl.
Yeah, she is. She's a good kid. So mama is pleased. I'm happy that I'm home for the next 2 weeks. And then I'm off to traveling again too.
So I want you to tell people, because you talk about traveling and you briefly mentioned social capital. So tell people about Solstice.
Okay.
And why you're so passionate about sharing the social capital message.
Well, the social capital piece is really interesting. When I was working on my PhD, I went in with this idea of I want to help communities build. And a professor pulled me aside and said, have you ever heard of this thing called social capital? And I started reading all this stuff and I became intrigued that I had been doing it for years and had no idea the language. And became just fascinated with how do you help people build relationships. And I became more interested in how do you build diverse relationships, because I noticed for many of us it's easy to hang out with people that are just like we are because it's familiar. But to help people begin to do what we do, and even though there are differences, there's so much that you have in common. And it's all around the story. How do you get people to tell their stories so they can better connect to each other? Because what you find is you realize the similarities. And I think for a lot of people, it's so easy to go, oh, they're so different. Oh, she believes something else. I think the way that we're going to see change in this society is for people to start sharing their narrative, because in the narrative is our identity. And so I've been on this quest of helping people come together, and especially women, talk about their story by telling my own story. And so the business really has been, it was more nonprofit stuff in the beginning. I've been working in nonprofit management, God knows, too long. I'm at a point now where I'm like, I need another career.
You are the guru there.
I have been in nonprofit management far too long. I'm like, Jesus. So anyway, I've really been looking at how do you help women build their leadership, build their networks. And so that's what the company really is about, is doing some coaching. And I don't do a whole lot of that, but really going out and speaking and talking. And I'm working on my second book.
Yay!
So it's at the publisher now.
Do you have a name?
It's called Ready for a Revolution.
Nice.
I love it.
And so it's a book of devotionals to help women really find out, who they are. So I'm big on workbooks. I like writing those. And so this is really a workbook for 30 days to help women really look at who they are. So it's almost done. Whoo, Cabbage Patch, Shop Lock, all that. I am so excited to work. I am so excited that it's done. And that started even bringing a group of diverse women together, doing a retreat.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
So how often do you have those retreats?
Not often enough.
Because I was just talking to some friends about how you do these retreats.
Yeah.
And I have not been to one, but I do want to. I just don't know if I can be quiet for how long?
I only do 24 hours, but I do
have to be
silence.
quiet?
No, because it's women. That's not what's going to happen. So the silence retreat that I did end of last year, I brought together a group of women, and I go through these guided meditations with them for them to connect to each other and build community, but for them to be in silence. That was pulling teeth because they were so excited to be in community with these women who had similar passions and ideas, and they were so different. And so I find them in corners of the monastery, in corners. Guess what? And you hear whispering. I'm like, you're not supposed to talk. This is time for you to be alone. So I only take people through 24 hours.
Okay.
When I did it for myself, I went through from a Friday night to a Sunday. No talking, no phones,
Nothing.
no clocks, nothing. So I take people through this experience to begin to calm their inner self.
That would be very difficult for me to shut my mouth for 24 hours.
It's not the whole 24. I really try to make sure that people have
4
time.
hours.
It ends up being
2
more
hours.
like, and when you sleep. I mean, because I was like, shut up, be quiet.
I'd be like,
Yes, no, we exterminate that stuff. Yeah. So I'll be having one in October.
Awesome.
okay.
Yep.
Very cool.
So Tildy, my traveling. Où vous coucher avec moi? You wanna?
You gotta say it right.
That's a Louisiana drawl.
I know.
What I just said is, would you like some chicken strips? With toe.
The answer is no.
That could spice up your life.
Comment tu t'appelles, Tildy?
See, that's what it's supposed to sound like.
Tilde. Je m'appelle Tilde.
Tilde.
Yeah.
Comment allez-vous?
Très bien.
Oh,
Right?
yeah,
Okay,
oui,
so
oui.
just to tell you, I am planning a trip. But more importantly, with Womanars, I'm really excited because I've hired an agency to develop the website, and I'm really, really happy. It should be done in September.
Awesome.
So I love them, and they're awesome. They're doing. I think they'll really put out the product that I've been waiting for. You know, I've been working on this since 2009 now. You know, I already had one website, but really wanting to focus both on inspiration and education and providing a platform for women centered around transformational growth that encompasses finances, business, relationships, mind, body, spirit, and also adventure. So reminding women how to have fun, right? I mean, just like we're having fun here. So so I'm really excited and can't wait for you guys to see the project. And Francois is one of our instructors on the website. Yeah, so I'm really excited to partner with her and other people like her who are as passionate about you know, empowering women as I am. So I'm really excited about that. And I've also gotten invited to speak in Russia. Yeah, so you know, I've always, my spirit, ever since I met this one woman from Russia that came through the State Department, we were kindred spirits. You know, when you meet that soulmate, you just click. And we met a couple of years ago, and we've always known that we wanted to work together. So we've kept in touch. And she put on one of the first women's conferences in Russia, in the Siberia area. Yeah, a couple of years ago, and she had over 3,000 women.
Wow.
There.
Amazing. Siberia.
Yeah, in Siberia. And so it's all centered around transformational growth as well, personal growth, personal development, leadership development, and things like that. And also for entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs. So she wrote me just a few weeks ago and asked if I wanted to come to the conference and speak. It's like, oh my gosh, yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So
thank you. You know, because I had put it out there about a month ago in my prayer time and meditation. And I had just simply said, God, I would love to speak again. You know, because I hadn't been speaking for a while now, where I did it a lot in my early 30s for women's organizations and women's ministries and things like that. But I put it out there, and as soon as I put it out there, I got email via LinkedIn about another women's conference, you know, and then a couple of weeks later, this came through from Russia. So it's like, thank you, God, you know, and taking advantage of those opportunities that I've been provided. So I'll be in Russia for a week. Then I'm thinking of staying in Europe for the rest of the time because I was supposed to be there anyway for September. So I'm going to do that, and then just see where I end up. I might end up meeting up with Gauthami.
It's a possibility. Oh, you can come too.
Will you pay for it?
You can come too.
Can somebody fund me?
Yeah.
Go fund me.
Go fund me to Europe.
I love being around you guys. You know, I love being around women that are just so inspiring, so empowering. Because you're role models to me, you know? So I love it.
Yeah.
Tear, tear.
I'm ready to sing a song.
You know, when you're talking about webinars, you guys, you might be somebody I'd like to pair up with my T-shirts.
Oh,
my
that'd be
T-shirt
awesome.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen her T-shirt?
Uh-uh.
They're awesome.
Yeah, I'm about to start a T-shirt line under the brand Wheatish Complexion. We are in the
Really?
process of getting trademarked. So, you know, Wheatish Complexion is my
that's-
blog.
uh-huh.
So I'm developing a T-shirt line, and our tagline is to inspire, empower, and impact. So what we're doing is trying to bring history back. It's called the Founding Mother. So empowering women all over the world, you know, from Nefertiti to, you know, Golda Meir to, you know, all
I
these
love
individuals. So we're going to post their silhouettes on various T-shirts and wrote like inspirational
They're
quotes.
gorgeous.
Oh, somebody
Yeah.
needs to connect you to. Okay.
So, yeah.
That's
So
cool.
what is it for the future then?
I think for me, it's doing more of the same. Is the speaking and writing. I love doing both of those things. So getting my child out of the house to go to college.
Oh, you'll
or
miss
something.
her.
I missed her for the 2 weeks. I mean,
miss
at
her.
first I was like, party, you know, and then it was like day 3. I text her every moment. What are you doing? Did you eat? 10 minutes later, what did you eat? Was it good? You know, so yeah, you're right. But just kind of more of the same. You know, I'm learning, and you just said something that was so powerful about what you put out there. I think the power of intention is so important that you have to set out what you want to do. And I'm learning more and more that is something you have to do. It will come to you if you believe it and you set the expectation for it.
You know, and I kind of feel like that about, you know, our show right now, because we just went with an idea and we're doing it. I mean, who says you have to perfect it, right? You perfect it as you go, and as long as you have fun with it, that's all that matters.
Right.
I'm a firm believer in just try it.
Yeah.
Me
You
too.
know,
Doesn't hurt.
Just try it. Just do it, you know, and see what happens. And going back to the intention, I can't remember who I was talking to or if I heard it somewhere, but it made so much sense, and it's so true. Because it's not just putting something out there to put something out there, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that resonates within your soul and your spirit. Like, you know, God, I want to speak again, you know, or like when I found my house, driving down the street, you know, and I thought, I'm going to live on this street. But I felt it. There was that feeling, right? And my friend said, whatever. I said, no. I said, you just wait and see. God's going to give me a house on this street.
You have to put it out there.
And 3 months later, I was on that street.
I do believe that.
Yeah. You know, so it's that something that resonates within your spirit and your soul, that when you say it, that you believe it firmly, you know, or it just resonates with you. That then it comes to manifest itself.
Right.
If you believe, you become.
The art of allowing.
Yes.
Well, and I think we limit ourselves so much. We live in a world right now with so much discourse that's mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Even the way we talk to ourselves can be so mean-spirited. I think this is so great for women to be able to have an opportunity to see that despite all that stuff that's out there,
Yeah.
you can be aware that it's out there, but it doesn't have to get in here.
Exactly. And speaking of what's happening, what do you think that's happening in the world right now?
A lot of mess.
I haven't been this. I tend to get angry, and I think some of the things that are happening in the world right now do make me angry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, politics, prejudice,
Yes.
you
Race.
know, pandering,
Violence.
all those things. Yeah, the violence that's occurring. And we talked about this a little bit about defining violence as not just physical violence, but verbal abuse as well. I mean, you take Caitlyn Jenner,
Yeah.
you know, and the abuse that has been thrown at her, you know, for the situation or for her coming out now, you know, which some of us find courageous and other people may not, but you don't have to be vicious
No, you
against
don't.
a person, you know.
But my thing has been, what does it have to do with you? At the end
Right.
of the day, when I have to pay my bills, me being mean does what? It
Right.
ends up being something, for me, a noose around my own neck.
Right.
And I don't think people recognize that kind of spirit, what that does and how it boomerangs to you. When all you have to do is look and go, okay, I don't agree, move
Right.
on. But to go on blogs and to be so vicious and mean-spirited, it goes back to the violence, that how people use words as tools to oppress.
They're weapons.
Yes.
Yeah. And when your thoughts are not right, how are your actions going to
Right.
be? Because it all starts with the
It
thoughts.
does.
You know?
It does.
Our mind is a flow of thoughts.
And I think it's important also to note it's not a difference of opinion
Yeah.
that brings offense to me. You know,
Right.
I can have a difference of opinion with you and still
Absolutely.
call you my friend.
Right.
But as soon as you become disrespectful or
I don't do that
belittling,
well. Yeah,
you
I
know,
don't do that
you,
well.
you cross a line that can't be uncrossed.
Right.
It's all about the tone in
Yeah.
the message, the
Right.
way it's conveyed.
Well, and for me, watching social media, I've had to kind of pull back from even Facebook, because when the Marriage Equality Act happened, and to see the viciousness, and I was in St. Louis, I had to really just go,
Right.
I'm done. And I don't think people realize that you're creating a virtual footprint. And so there were a lot of people who were so vicious that I made up in my mind, I'm not working with you or dealing with you.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
if you can do that and you're that comfortable in doing that, then what do you think about me?
Right.
And especially those who did it under the guise of religion,
Right.
that you're going to be so mean-spirited. I'm going, so what pieces of the Bible are you reading
Right.
that say that's okay
Right.
to behave in that kind of way? And yet we can, as a friend of mine calls it, he says it's buffet Christianity. When you pick and choose what you want to do, so you can be married multiple times and not see what the Bible said about that. And I'm not knocking anybody from divorce, and that's your business. But just like you were given the right to do that, and you felt forgiven,
Right.
then how are you not able to extend that to someone else?
Yeah.
That's a piece that got me. Or you were fornicating or shacking up, and all of us
Yeah,
have,
you
you
judge
know,
others.
I could come up with a list of my own stuff. So for me to sit up and throw a stone at someone,
Right.
how dare you do that? And so I had to pull back because the viciousness, and then these people turn around and want to quote scripture. Are you serious? and I want to work with you? Oh my God. So what are you going to say about me? Because I'm different.
Right.
And I may not look like you. So what's that mean?
And the crazy thing is the people they're calling out, it's not about their character, it's about your character for
Yeah.
putting it out there.
Right.
Yeah.
That
And
tells
I
a lot
think-
about
and
you.
We talked a little bit about this earlier. It's when we do see those things posted on Facebook for all of the public to see. What makes people think that I would want to work with them?
I
Yeah.
won't. It's a few that
You
I have
know,
on the list right
Just,
now.
you know,
turned off
or that
by it.
anybody
Yeah.
else with a difference of opinion would want to. When it's okay to have that difference of opinion, but when you are so vicious with your words, I mean, it's such a huge turnoff. I don't want to work with people like that.
I'm not.
No,
I have
you
a
don't.
list
You don't.
already in my head of people that I've said, oh my goodness, they could offer millions, and I would go no, because their character has told me so much about who they are just
Yeah.
based on their comments.
Right.
And I think it's such a sad world that we've created all these, folks who feel like they are commentators
Right.
on everybody's life, and yet when you look at their own lives, it's like, are you
Yeah.
serious?
Right.
Clean up your own stuff before you start trying to tell other people how to fix theirs.
Exactly.
I have a formula for it. It's called V2.
What's that?
Vulgar vocal.
What's that?
Just putting it out there and it's just violent, violent, violent. Anything that you're putting out there on social media, it's all negative. I call it vulgar vocal.
Well, the thing that gets me is we always want to beat up kids and talk about how children are so, out of control. And for me, it's like, look at the adult models
Yeah.
that they have. When you're watching, I saw some video on YouTube or something someone had sent to me, and it was these moms who had these small children with them, and they're cursing out the security guard. And so I'm thinking, what kind of kids are you creating
Yeah.
when you think that violence in your language is okay? And then the guard tases her, and I'm thinking, secretly I'm like, she shouldn't have gotten his face. And I know it sounds so bad, but she's all in his face, rolling her neck and talking stupid. I'm thinking,
Kids are sponges. They see everything.
right. And people do not realize that as much as we want to call them apathetic, it is because they have role models who have demonstrated bad behavior.
Okay. Right.
And so at some point, adults have to take responsibility. I've gotten to a place now where I'm going, even with kids can be okay. Mm-hmm. It's the adults that I'm going, we got to start working with grown people. We're spending so much time on kids. Their models are the ones who are so damaged and broken and wounded that we got to start working with ourselves before we try to influence how they look.
That's one of the reasons I stopped practicing therapy, because I used to do therapy with adults. And I realized you can't fix these people. It's already too late. That's why I went to children.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much. For me, it was kind of one of those things of, I'd been working with kids for years, and I saw, oh my goodness, if I can help adults and begin to help them start thinking about it, because I saw people who were so damaged, they were giving that to their kids. Yeah. And it became, especially for women, it became this thing of, how do you get women together to acknowledge their brokenness and to begin to start working through those issues, because generations are impacted because of our stuff. Yes. And that's what you're seeing now.
Yeah. And that impact will be long term if we don't change it now.
Right.
Absolutely. It really will. Right.
Well, those mindsets will remain fixed.
Yes.
Fixed mindsets versus open
your
mindset.
beliefs will stay limited.
Yes.
You know, instead of becoming more expandable.
Right.
You know, your mind stays the same instead of growing and learning and being able to love more and love differently, you know.
We need to learn to practice kindness.
Yes.
And preach kindness and
To
accept
ourselves,
kindness
though.
to ourselves and to others.
Right. But it starts with you. It's kind of like the issue with the Confederate flag for me, where everybody's saying, we need to take down the flag. And I'm like, yes, it's a symbol, but the reality is there's a language that's under it. And so what we're noticing as a country is this kind of language has been around forever. Right. And it's because people haven't really been talking and being honest. They've just kind of pushed it aside. And that brokenness has gone from one generation to the next. When do we help people understand how toxic that language is, not only to the people that you're doing it against, but to yourself? That you don't grow when you feel that way about people.
Yeah, because a flag didn't say anything.
No.
It's what happens under it. That's just purely symbolic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is.
So where do you think the future, or what do you see happening as far as racial tensions? Because there are, I mean, you talk about police brutality, now the flag, the Confederate flag issue, and you can throw in even marriage equality with that, because it's a sense of prejudice, really, and bigotry. So where do you think, which way do you think our country is headed with issues like that, you know, and how can we make a difference in our local communities with that, you know? I mean, because there is a lot of hate. There still is a lot of hate, and it's reflected. I mean, just pull up Facebook, you can see it there. You pull up the news, and the media, I think, does a disservice to a lot of it, because they dramatize everything, you know,
Yes, they do.
and they take things out of context.
They do.
A lot of times. So, I mean, what do you see happening in our country over the next few months or the next year with all these issues?
And that's all in our hands, too. It's how we change it, how we perceive it, and how we accept it. And I think the number one thing is we have to learn to accept it, that it's happening. And then we have to find a solution. Rather than sitting there nagging about it, talking about, we're not going to resolve anything. Right. So we need to find solutions to prevent this from continuing, you know?
But I think it's relationship, because I'm real big on that. I think it's relationship. One of the things that was so powerful for me is when I got friends who were different ethnic backgrounds and I started learning their stories, I became an advocate for them. So when the immigration reform piece came out and people were talking about legislation and the DREAM Act, I was livid, because it was like, these are folks that I know. These are my friends. So I'm going to advocate and I'm going to get involved. And people were kind of surprised, because, you know, it's me and a few other black faces that were showing up to meetings going, no, this is a problem. We've got to do something. This is not about people taking folks' jobs. That's so not what this is. And that's a myth and a lie in itself. And so it's helping people to understand that there's value in every human being. But in order to understand that value, it's having relationships so that I can advocate. When you look at the civil rights movement and what made it so powerful, it wasn't just King getting up and doing speeches. There were all these people who did not look like King, who were also behind the scenes, who were advocating in their congregations and you know, even getting killed because they believed in a cause. And so for this to be important, it can't be a black thing or a brown thing. It has to be a people thing. And folks have got to get behind behind it and say that, as King said, a threat to justice anywhere or injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Anytime something happens against another person, you have to think about your own rights are going to also come under scrutiny. And so we have got to begin to start loving ourselves and extending that love to other people. And it's in conversations. Personally, I think it's going to get worse, because we've hidden it for so long. We wanted to sing Kumbaya, and everybody thought when you had a black president that it was going to change everything. And all it did was bring out this viciousness. And so in order for it to change, you have to go through a movement. It is something about when you look at in South Africa and what they went through in terms of Nelson Mandela and apartheid, that they could do reconciliation because they went through all of that. We haven't done reconciliation very well in our country. And so at some point, people have got to start talking. There has got to be some hitting of heads and stop hiding it. And people have these places that are safe where they can speak and then do something about it. And we don't have that right now.
Yeah. And I think we need to get rid of those lines that keep us separate, like Republican, Democrat, Independent, all of that. It's like it's like the pointing of fingers of like they're for immigration reform, they're not, or they're for Medicaid.
The more the finger pointing that goes on, you're not going to resolve anything.
Exactly. And let's be honest, these are millionaires that are doing this finger pointing who do not understand or not connected to people, and it's helping folks. One, you talked about media. I think it's helping people understand you need to be careful of what media you're watching, because everything that's being pumped out to you is, I call it infotainment. It is not necessarily education. And so we got to help people to start, discovering facts. I see folks who put stuff up on Facebook that I'm going, Obama is not trying to blow up Texas. You see this kind of stuff, and it's like, what are you reading?
Like this mass hysteria or something for no reason.
Or like immigration reform.
Right.
It's like if people really wanted to reform immigration, guess what? They would. But there's so multi-millions in a billion-dollar industry in not allowing those immigrants to come and take those minimum wage jobs that it's going to affect a multi-millionaire.
Right.
And it's going to affect our economy. It affects the Mexican economy, because guess how much of that money is going back to Mexico and their families.
Together.
And it's like, open your eyes, expand your vision just a little bit. It's not just about illegal immigration. And I am not for illegals coming here unauthorized. But the fact is that it happens, and it continues to happen because it affects the bottom line.
Right.
But it's having these kinds of conversations that help people see that, and helping people to get off stupid sites that lie to them. People don't dig, and what we've done is dumb down society.
Right.
And so you have a group of people that believe everything that they hear instead of investigating, and we allow our biases to get in the way of truth.
Right.
And at some point, that has got to stop, where people stop letting that stuff serve as a filter and begin to examine everything that's in front of them and go, okay, what really makes sense? And we're not doing that now. People don't want to read. It is amazing how we are a society of sound bites.
That, or we read something that's on social media and we automatically believe it.
Right.
I'm guilty for it.
Right. But then I'm starting to, because I got shamed on something that I put up because I thought, oh, this is true. I started digging. I'm like, okay, idiot. And so after that happened, it was like, from now on, I need to do my research before I jump out and make an opinion about something. And it's helping folks to recognize that everything you see and read is not true.
Right.
Read, understand.
Snopes or not.
Right.
Being able to admit that, accept that, okay, maybe I didn't do my homework. Some people, oh, no. I know what I posted and I know it's correct.
No.
Well, I love being here with both of you and having all these discussions and kind of giving everybody an insight as to what we're doing. So we're getting the cue that it is about that time.
I love it. It's time. Shut up! You talk too
much. We could go on forever.
Yes,
so.
Shakalaka.
But it kind of gives, I think, our audience an idea of some of the topics that might be coming up. And we really encourage our audience to let us know what you want to hear, what you want for us to talk about. What are those organizations out there that we should be listening to that put out facts?
Exactly.
And that actually help us contribute positively in our communities, locally, nationally, or even globally. So please let us know, and let us know what you think about the show.
Come sit with us, and don't forget to share.
Yay. So thank you guys for tuning in again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.